Our next gear for activating student learning is connecting prior knowledge. As faculty, it's important for you to take a look at what you're teaching today and think, what do students already have in their knowledge repertoire that is somehow similar to what I'm teaching today, so that you can build a bridge between today's knowledge and past knowledge. And by building that bridge, it speeds up the students' learning. I think of the Apple products. Many of us at home may have a MacBook Pro, and then we got our iPhone. When the iPads came along, we learned them quite quickly because we'd already established a neural pathway in the brain for how many of these Apple products work. And that's another name, is called positive transfer of learning. That something from the past is similar, we bring it forth and explicitly talk about how they're similar to speed up students' learning. Not only does it speed up learning, but it also helps integrate the learning within the framework that we talked about in the earlier gear, as well as it helps with retention within that framework. So connecting prior knowledge to what the students already know.
So in physics, we teach about Newton's laws of motion. So the first law of motion says that an object at rest wants to stay at rest, or an object in motion wants to stay in motion unless it's acted upon by an outside source. Now, if you give that concept all by itself and just put it out there and say, okay, memorize this, the likelihood of students actually learning and being able to use it is pretty difficult. But if you can first activate prior knowledge, so you talk to the students and say, how many of you have ever been to an amusement park? And so you talk about going on a roller coaster. And have you ever felt when you were going on that roller coaster that you came at the very, very top, and then all of a sudden you had a great dip, and all of a sudden you felt like your stomach was going to come out your throat? Well, matter of fact, I just did that yesterday. And what happened is I had that same feeling. So once you connect to prior experience, then all of a sudden the students are saying, yeah, I've experienced that before. Now when you go to explain Newton's first law, that it was because your stomach wanted to continue in the motion that it was going, and when it dropped, it still wanted to go straight, and you felt that sensation, that is Newton's first law in action. So by an instructor connecting what they're talking about in the classroom, that content, to something the students have experienced previously or have learned previously, what you've done is you've enhanced the learning process. And if you go back to the file cabinet idea, well, what you've done is you have these files of learning and experience, and all of a sudden, instead of creating a new file for Newton's first law, what you've actually done is you've made a connection to something they already knew and giving it a more sophisticated and a more specific name and explanation to it.